What's up guys, how's it going? China, huge country, right? It changes so much from one side to the other, it is absolutely insane. So what do you reckon the weather is like in the south compared to the north? I tell you what, today I've got a friend of mine who lives in the north to do a collab with me and we're gonna compare the two. So for anybody that doesn't know, I live like 500 kilometers south of Shanghai on the southeast coast of China in a city called Wenzhou, and Angello lives way up by the Russian border in the northeast. So Angello is going to explain how the weather is up there first.
Welcome to northern China, more specifically northeast China, where it's mostly known for northeastern Chinese people. Now, northeastern China is right up there along the Russian border, and it's not even the end of November yet, and it's extremely cold. Just look at what I'm wearing. It's probably like 20 degrees Fahrenheit, but to me that's really cold because I grew up in the south, the southern part of the United States, and it rarely got below freezing.
So as you can see here in Wenzhou, the weather's still pretty hot. It's nice and sunny, so I'm squinting, and yeah, I'm still in a t-shirt. I don't need to be. Sometimes, like right now, it's comfortable to be in this t-shirt. You know, I could also be comfortable wearing a hoodie as well. It's kind of in-betweeny kind of weather. It's just the mornings and night times, right, where you do need to wear a hoodie because it gets a little bit cold. There has been a few days where it's been like a bit nippy, but other than that, like, that's a great thing. Like, the winter here is very short, maybe 1 or 2 months. So the first year I was here, it was like kind of like this. About this time of year, I was still in shorts and t-shirts, and then like mid-January, I was back out in pool shorts at an outdoor pool resort in the sun because it was nice and warm. The winters here are pretty short, so like you don't have the heating system that Angello has in the north, but you do just have pretty nice weather all the time. The summers can be pretty blazing hot though. Like the middle of the summer, I guess July, August, it is ridiculously hot. And here in Wenzhou, because city in the east, we're like, I guess, about 500 kilometers down below Shanghai. So, and it does get super humid. Like here, like 38 degrees feels hotter than like 50 degrees in Arizona, because in Arizona the heat is dry. So here it's just insanely hot. It feels insanely hot because of the humidity. The humidity rolling in just really makes you sweat a lot.
So let's talk about the climate. It starts getting really frigid cold. Well, to me, frigid cold around the end of October. That's when the temperature starts hovering around freezing and even below freezing. And then you jump into the end of November, where the lakes and the water and the rivers start freezing up and you can actually walk on them. They're frozen all the way through. Then when you get into December, the end of December and January, it gets so cold. Oh, you've got to prepare, and the best way to prepare is you got to get some gear.哇塞，你这儿有防冬天的东西，太好了。你好，我看一下。防冬天的东西，看这个寒冷的冬天。哇塞，这是帽子吗？ Let's see what I can get in here. In the little stalls along any street market is the best place to find your gear because it's perfect and it's also cheap. And you've got to get the essentials out of the way. You need to get some really thick socks. You need to get some beanies with some fur inside of them. Any type of hat will do. You need to get gloves. I totally recommend a face mask that'll keep your lips warm and keep them from getting chapped, and also keep your face warm. These red underwear here, you don't necessarily need those. Awesome. How do I look?
When it does actually get cold here, order of the day is the Chinese pajamas. These things are absolutely incredible. You just take a look and see how thoroughly thick this is here. It's insane. It is so thick. I'm feeling hot right now because the sun's out. But yeah, these are incredibly thick. They will keep you warm through no matter what. So it's a very common practice here to keep all the windows open and have cold air billowing through the house because, you know, fresh air is good for healthy. I don't know how about pneumonia, but whatever. Like it can be very cold in houses. Here, I've got my wife on that we keep them open for some of the time, or we keep them open a little bit, but I don't want them open all the time because that's crazy. But when you do that, these things, as you can see, like I said before, super thick. They will keep you warm, insanely warm, and people wear them. It's funny because you see people out on the street in these. These, like, they seem to double as like clothes for in your house, and people will go out to buy the vegetables or go shopping. Like, you see the people out in these kind of pajama things all the time. I've even had students to have my classes in pajamas. So another thing I just realized I miss, I guess, that is different here to back in England is, although it does get cold in the winter just for that short period of time, at Christmas time the days are much longer, and for me it kind of affects that Christmas feeling. The thing I like about England that makes it feel like Christmas is basically like the feeling of it being cold outside, warm in the house, and super short days with it being like dark when you wake up still, and dark like middle of the afternoon. That's what makes the Christmas feeling, and that's just another thing that is different about the winters here. I don't know how it is up in the north of China, but I'm guessing it's maybe a little bit different.
As you can see, all the locals are dressed like this, wearing thick jackets and face masks and beanies and stuff. So that's what you got to do, and it's not even the end of November yet. And then there's the diet here. People eat rich and hearty foods, high in calories, and hot soups and noodles. Oh, talking about it just makes me hungry. Let's go eat some. 来碗馄饨。Oh man, it's so cold. I gotta get home.
One thing I find that they do here in China, which is different to anywhere else in the world, is they dress for the seasons and not the weather. And by that I mean, basically, as soon as it becomes the official start of winter, they dress like it's ready for winter. They don't care whether or not it's actually hot or cold, they just dress. So like, I would just dress how I feel. They would dress what the season's clothes are supposed to be like. I'm not saying whether that's right or wrong, it's just a thing they do here. You sometimes see people in spring when it's quite hot and they're still wearing jackets, whereas I'll be wearing like a t-shirt or a light jumper. It's kind of weird. So the one downside for me is that I'm a snowboarder, so I miss the snow. I actually lived in France for like a whole year maybe, and went snowboarding every single day. I actually really like the snow, and I really enjoy being in a cold environment. Where I was in the Alps was like -20 every day. So, you know, there was meters and meters of snow. I'm okay with cold temperatures as long as you have indoor warm living, and I kind of miss that. Like here in Wenzhou we have lots of mountains, which are fantastic, and they would be so cool for snowboarding, but we never actually get snow. It's always warm, and that's a great thing, but it's also, I kind of miss snow.
Woo! And I don't even need to turn on the heater. What's that all about? The northern part of China, in every living residence, has a central heating system, which works really well. You don't need any other heating sources, and it comes up through the floor of where you live. There is an imaginary line that goes through the country that separates the north and the south. In the southern part of China, they don't have this in their homes. They have to rely on heaters or any other source of heat they can get. But all of the northern cities and provinces above this imaginary line do have this. And this thing automatically kicks in sometime in November, I believe around the 15th. And it's in every single home. It's so convenient during the winter and the cold temperatures up in the north that it's a joy to stay home and not go outside. But in the south, even like just a mile away from this imaginary land, this central heating system doesn't exist. So even though it is really cold in the north, we can't feel it like they can in the south. So in the winter, they're feeling pretty cold down there. We got it lucky up here. Ooh, Lordy, that cold air. I'm standing here in my underwear.
So there you go, guys. That's pretty much it for me. Peace.